Hey, it's Mark here from stockpursuit.com, the Twitter account slash X account, and the other blog, and my Substack. So today I'm gonna break down this short setup that there was in shot. And if you follow my videos, like I know I do some pretty long videos every day, or at least I have been doing lately in the past. I'm not gonna be able to keep it up like every day, but I'm gonna put them out whenever I can. I've been doing sort of like a daily recap of stuff that I'm watching in the market, and I do look at a lot of things. Like I even look at international markets too. Like I've been following Vietnam and Turkey, and I kind of like to see as much as I can see because it's a lot about it's about information, in the stock market. So, but what I want to talk about today is the short setup that there was in shot, and I talked about it at a pretty great length in my video the other day, the day before the that shot actually had that drop. I talked about it in my daily recap video, and I was saying that basically because it was right here on that day on Friday that it was coming up against some major levels here. So the way I trade is just off of major of levels, price levels. So you can see that red line here that I'm about to blow up. It acted as a support level, so every time the price came up to it, it would bounce off. So it actually bounced off there, and then it came down to it there again and bounced off, and then it bounced off of it there. It held that level, and then it came back down to it again on Monday or Tuesday, on the market open Tuesday, and that was kind of the setup that I was talking about, where I sort of outlined the levels in that video where it was like 340 to 350 area. This rough support level was where the price could have some downside, if it breaks through it. And it works the same way with breakouts too, but with short setups, they're oftentimes better to trade because the downside moves is a lot more forceful and quick. So there's less like choppy stuff, but you can see this is Friday here when I found that level. I found that level there on Friday. That was like a big level, and we zoom in here. It was right at 341 was where it held on Friday morning, and then Friday afternoon it held 341 again. It came down to 341 again and held. So probably not coincidence, but that's what happens, and then so what happened on Tuesday was it started to come down and it sort of held before it hit, and then it finally broke through right here. Let me just zoom in more so we can see. So right when it hit, so there's a 341 right there at in the afternoon, and then right when it cracked through, it just dropped immediately, and then there was a lot of volume came in, and it kind of retested. It came back up to try to reclaim right here, like it moved back up, but that failed too. So that move there, it couldn't even make it back up to that level. Sometimes they'll try to retest and then it'll fail again, but it didn't even make it that far because the shorts are just piling in at this point. You can see it traded 87,000 shares in 2 minutes there, and it even traded more in the next 2 minutes. So once it failed there's even more volume came in on that big down candle there, and then it just kind of slowly faded. Did a little pennant descending triangle there, which is a bear setup. So first I did the bear flag. So that's a bear flag right there, where it comes back up and then breaks down again. That line's the bear flag, and then it consolidated there, like it tried to bounce, but there's just more shorts coming in, so it failed that level there again at like 325 or 326, and cracked again, and then had another big flush down to about 320. So all that happened in about almost an hour, but like 40 minutes or so, and so it went from 340, 341 that level to 320, 321, and a pretty short time there. So that was a pretty big percentage move. And then of course it just kind of consolidated again and kind of got into a trading range here where it's just sideways right there. And then it went all the way down to 312 actually the next morning, and then rebounded, and then the same kind of sell-off just continued, just straight down pretty much for a while there, and then another bear flag failed, and another flush down. So the low was 294. So when I said it was a good short, it was like at about 350 or 350 that day, or 340 that day. So I think it was actually up here because it was after the market closed, so it was like, yeah, at least 350s. So it came down all the way to the 290s, and the next trading day in a couple hours. So that's the power of watching levels. And some people, they'd use like moving averages and VWAP and all the other stuff, but you don't really have to if you can find key levels and see where the pivot points are, where market makers are gonna send it based on levels. So that's just how I do it. I just keep it simple, and that's what I found to work for a long time now. And I do use Bollinger Bands to find like overbought situations where it's above the upper Bollinger Band, so that's for short opportunities too. And shot might have even had that situation at the top there. So if you look at the Bollinger Bands on shot, yeah, so this blue line here is the Bollinger Band, the upper Bollinger Band. So I just use the standard 22 Bollinger Bands, and when they go way above the Bollinger Band, after they've been up a lot, that's usually like an overbought signal. So it's a signal that's going to come down. It doesn't always work, but it's, like I was saying, it's best to use when the stock's already up a lot. So this stock, went from $1 to $7 in roughly a month or so. So that's pretty big move. So that's when you start to pay attention to the Bollinger Bands, like this day here where it was above the upper Bollinger Band and red on the day. That's a good signal to short. And it went above the upper Bollinger Band there, and then that was where it stopped too. So this isn't like, you can't do this to every stock, use the Bollinger Bands, but like I was saying, like on stocks that are up a lot in short time, it's pretty reliable. And if they make a candle that's like a shooting star, that's oftentimes what they call the kiss of death for stock if it's above the upper Bollinger Band. So that candle there was actually a shooting star, even though it wasn't the typical shooting star you'd see because it's such a long body, like it was such a wide-ranging day. But it did print a shooting star above the upper Bollinger Band that day, this day here on the 21st of November. So that played out as the top day too. So it still kind of holds true, even if it's not the perfect kind of candle, because it was still positive on the day. But that's just one setup that I alerted on my video watch list, my video recap. And if you haven't checked out my channel, I do a lot of things, like I cover even value stocks too. I do a Substack on value stocks, deep value stocks, like value investing, and that's Substacks, like my domain name. But I've got all my links on my channel. I've got a link tree up. So I'm very active on Twitter too. Like I'm really active on there. So be sure and follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel and my Substack. And I've got a blog too. I don't post on that frequently, but every now and then I do a blog post on stockpursuit.com. I do a blog post also. So I just wanted to share that setup because I thought it was worthy of kind of like a tutorial there on how to short sell with price levels. So the first thing you got to do is identify the levels, and then it's just basically a trend line where price touches the level multiple times, and you kind of go from there. But that's just a really simple way to short sell, and I've seen that work a lot of times over the years. So I'll just wrap it up there, and catch you in the next video.